The Odyssey, the recent trailer for the Odyssey, is the most disliked trailer of Christopher Nolan's career. I don't know if we want to read this or show the video. Should we show the video?
I can't read that, but
okay. We're going to show this. All right. We need to show this video about the Chris Nolan trailer.
The most disliked trailer of Christopher Nolan's career, in response to casting Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy, is being explained to us as a mass outbreak of racism. 500,000...
I think he mispronounced her name.
Yes.
Which might be racist.
Yes, exactly.
That might be racist. Okay.
People clicked thumbs down on the Odyssey trailer, and the official reading from the press, from Hollywood, and from your local Starbucks barista is that all of them are simply bigots who need to be disregarded. Let me explain why the disapproval is the rational part of this story and why the confidence of the people waving it away is not. The numbers are real, whatever you make of them. Early counts ran near 338,000 dislikes against 55,000.
This has to be why they shut down comments on the official X account for the Odyssey. So the comments are completely shut down. They left them open for YouTube. But look at that. Over 300,000 downvotes to 55,000 upvotes.
Likes. And they have since climbed toward 450,000 dislikes, with Universal quietly locking replies on the premiere post. This is worth pausing on because it breaks so hard from Nolan's own history. The Oppenheimer trailer ran about 99% positive. Tenet, the film people still call his most confusing, sat near 98%. Audiences do not meet a Nolan trailer this way. The defense for casting Nyong'o as Helen of Troy is shallow. These are made-up stories, says the online commentator.
Is that you, Alan?
I think so. Oh, no, the eyes are not slanty enough.
I don't know. I hope this has a point. I did not put this in here. I don't know why
could be more yellow, too.
I mean, I know all this. What are we doing?
Be remade however we want. They'll argue that the Odyssey is mythology rather than history and ask why casting could possibly matter in a tale with a Cyclops and sirens. Jimmy Kimmel even claimed Helen was mythical, like Santa Claus, so the color of a myth cannot matter. Here is the trouble. The people making this argument believe that distinguishing myth from history is a display of intelligence. They think they have caught the rest of us in a category error. It is the reverse, a clean specimen of the Dunning-Kruger effect, the confidence of someone who has learned that a thing is invented without ever asking what the invention is for. A myth is not less true than history. It is more true, precisely because it is not weighed down by the accidents of a single life. Take Achilles. Was he a man whose burial site we could find and whose DNA we could test today? No. He is something far denser than a man. He is the overlapping virtue of every noble warrior across generations, gathered and fastened into one figure so that the sons who came after had something to emulate. History records one man once. Myth records what 1,000 men held in common. That is not a downgrade from fact, but a compression of the highest truth. And the author does not invent the values. He does not sit down, decide what his people will honor, and write it into a character. The values flow upward into the story from the people themselves. The myth is the self-portrait that a civilized...
Now I'm caught up watching this video. Yeah. I'm sorry, folks. Should we keep playing it? Should we keep playing it?
I don't know. Dude, my only thing is I think we get the point.
I think we get the point, but let's keep going a little bit. It's only 2 minutes.
Paints of its own best self. This is why it is not merely a tale for entertainment. Homer's Odyssey is a time capsule for a culture, the encoded values and examples that tell a people what it means to belong to them. In this case, the first men and women of the West, whose philosophy and social order inform us still. So yes, Helen of Troy was never a woman with a birth certificate, but she is the distilled reflection of real women, a real people found worth going to war over. changed who she is, and you have edited the self-portrait. This is why the casting is not trivial and why it is not hateful to say so. It is the equivalent of casting Sylvester Stallone as a legendary samurai. And before anyone reaches for Tom Cruise in the
I would watch Stallone as a samurai. I would.
A samurai, recall that the entire plot was a man disassociating from his own heritage and assimilating into another. That is not the theme here. Here, we are asked to accept at face value and with no explanation that Nyong'o is a believable stand-in for the most beautiful Greek woman ever imagined. This is why films are generally terrible now, and the Greeks diagnosed it long before Hollywood existed. Mythos, story, and narrative must reflect logos, the rational order of how the world actually works. Stories that survive 3,000 years, like the Odyssey, survive because they encode real patterns in profound ways. You can draw generations of wisdom from a single one of them. That is why they resonate, not because they entertain you, but because they tell you the truth about how the world works. Modern films fail because their writers have inverted the order. They build stories around how they wish the world should be rather than how it is. Mythos severed from logos. And so the stories crumble on contact. And no matter how many times some commentator types, it's just a made-up story, it will never talk a people into accepting a steady defacing of the myths their civilization was built upon.
His point is basically that it doesn't feel real. It's inauthentic. It takes you. It's like watching an episode of Bridgerton. I can't accept it. It doesn't seem real and authentic. It's a good video essay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got a little more out of it, but it's the stories we tell as cultures. The Greek culture told these stories. These were the characters of that culture. And now we're going to go in and presume that we know better. And we're going to now take the characters, these stories that millions of people have grown up, told their family, told their kids, who told their kids, who told their kids. And now we're going to say that Helen of Troy was black. And that's his point, is you're doing more damage than if you were to actually change actual history at that point. Because it's the arrogance of woke progressives to say that, yeah, you may have believed these stories for centuries, but here's how we're going to fix it. And you better accept it, or else, you're a misogynist, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, blah, blah, blah.